Guys, happy Wednesday. I wanted to send some information as we spoke about last week. I don't know if you caught that video. We talked about flood insurance last week and how to kind of find that on your own on the flood maps. I wanted to bring in that the insurance guy I talked about, my broker. His name is Kyle Beerbaum, one of the most knowledgeable guys that I know in this industry. So I wanted to make sure he can share a little bit of information with you. And obviously, if your situation is specific or there's something that you want to know relative to your property or your purchase that we're either going into, entering into, or anything about the real estate market, reach out to him. I'll share his information as usual, or you can reach out to me and I'll put you guys in touch with each other. Happy learning.
Hey Nicole, thanks for having me this morning to talk to you guys about homeowners and flood insurance. So to try and keep this quick, because we could spend hours and upon hours talking about flood and homeowners insurance, I want us to touch on just a few topics that are probably the most asked questions when it comes to flood insurance. One is flood zone. Like you showed last week, you can get that from the LSU Ag Center. You can get that from your local agent. We can run that in the system and tell you exactly what flood zone you're in. If you're in a preferred zone, it's simple. Your premium's $450 if you want the max coverage of $250 on your house, $100,000 on your contents. If you're in an A flood zone, for example, you're gonna have to get what's called an elevation certificate. Call a local land surveyor, they're gonna get that for you. What we're looking for is the numbers on that certificate. So it's gonna tell us your base flood elevation, which is the height of the land around you, and then the numbers for your house in particular. Then what that's gonna do, we put that into the system, and it's gonna determine whether you're above or below the base flood elevation, and then it's gonna determine your premium. One thing to note, location doesn't matter. North of I-12, south of I-12, North Shore, South Shore, doesn't matter. It's all dependent on your flood zone and your elevation. That's the only thing that's gonna matter when it comes to flood insurance. Also, another thing to know is it doesn't matter who you buy it from. Whether you buy it from an independent agent and we use Wright Flood or American Bankers or Selective, or you buy it from one of the captive carriers like State Farm, Allstate, or Liberty Mutual, it all costs the same. So now let's talk a little bit about homeowners. One of the things to know about homeowners is location does matter, but there's a lot of things that matter. It's the age of the home, it's when your roof was replaced, when things were updated. But one major question that we get a lot is, and this a lot of times comes from real estate agents and mortgage brokers, is why did you quote, for example, $300,000 on my coverage for my house when the sales price is only $250 or my mortgage is only $200? We in the insurance world don't necessarily worry about what your market value is. We don't worry about what your mortgage is. That doesn't matter to us. All that we worry about is what is the replacement cost on this house. If your house burnt to the ground today or a hurricane blew it to the ground today, how much would it cost to rebuild that house? That's what matters. That's what we insure it for. If you do not insure it for the full amount, you may incur what's called a co-insurance penalty. That's a topic for another day, but it could basically cause a penalty on your claim. And who wants a half a check when you're expecting a whole check? Another thing to be careful of when you're looking at homeowners quotes is all the carriers, no matter who your agent is, the premium is going to be the same for one particular carrier for each agent. Where a lot of people get confused is when things get stripped out of the policy. You know, the agent, they strip it down, they give you the lowest amount or lowest percentages, or they don't include certain coverages, and that's where you can get yourself into some trouble, because a lot of times what happens is the insurance companies, they take things out of their policy in the standard coverages and they make you add it back as optional coverages. And there are a few of those that we think are very important. Do I normally think you need everything? Probably not, but it's very important when you're comparing to know exactly what you're getting, knowing the coverages you are getting, and know the coverages that you need. And that's what your agent's for, is there to help you walk through that and understand what it is you're getting. You know, like I said, we could spend hours on this talking about all these different things, but those are kind of the main questions that we get on a regular basis. And from what you told me, you guys get on a regular basis. So if we can ever help, you know where to find us, and we appreciate the opportunity to talk to everybody. Have a great day.